am doing my May wrap-up video, and this is the biggest wrap-up video that I've ever done in the history of ever. I read 14 books, which is like insane. I wasn't participating in any of the like readathons or read-alongs that had been happening all this month. I know that was like a really big thing. Like the first 2 weeks of the month was super chill, and I don't know, I just read a lot. Not so much, like I haven't even read pretty much at all the last week and a half. But yes. Okay, so the first thing I did this month was I finished up the Sweep series by Kate Tiernan. And so I read Full Circle and Knight's Child, and I liked this series a lot. It's definitely like a really long one. There's 15 books, which is a little crazy, but I really liked it. The ending was kind of unexpected, but it was still like a good ending. I'm not gonna say anything about it, and I'm not gonna really say anything about the content of the book because, you know, you gotta read the first 13 before you get to these ones. So, but yep, I thoroughly enjoyed them. I really liked the differing perspective crap that they threw in there, and yes, if you haven't read the Sweep series and you like witches, this is what it's about. It's about witchcraft and Wicca and stuff. Next, I read Of Triton by Anna Banks. This is the first book in the Cyrena legacy. I like this book. It's definitely, you know, if I was at a beach and I was reading this book, it would be like, mwah, perfect. Because it's like nothing to be like super serious about. I mean, this chick, she finds out she's a mermaid and then goes on like these crazy, weird kind of adventures and love story kind of thing. It's like super YA mermaid, I am a teenage mermaid kind of thing, you know what I mean? But like, I really liked it. I think I gave this one like a 4 out of 5. I definitely thought this was the best book out of all of the series. You have to kind of go into this like, you know, expecting some fluff, because there's a lot of fluff. There's a lot of like cutesy kind of thing. Next, I read the next book in the series, which is Of Poseidon, also, you know, by Anna Banks. This is, you know, book 2 of the trilogy, because, you know, YAs and their trilogies. I'm not really gonna go into, you know, the content of the book because spoilers, but anyway, it's like a continuation and more troubles are given to the characters, and there's more mermaid stuff in this book, definitely. The first book is more on land. This one's more mermaidy kind of stuff. But yeah, I like this one too. I didn't like it as much as the first one, I think. I don't know, it's been such a long time. Then I read The Girl That Never Was by Skylar Dorset. And I really liked this book. I didn't really know what to expect. I went on Goodreads a while ago and I just like looked up fairy books because I was like in a fairy mood. This book is actually intense. It reminds me of Alice in Wonderland because the main character is dropped in like this magical world that makes no sense. And at first I was so confused, but I think it's written like that because the main character is totally confused. She has no idea what's going on, but there's like fairies and gnomes and magic and wizards, and memory is getting mixed up, and I really like this book. The cover is garbage. Disregard the cover. It's really good. It's very Shakespearean Alice in Wonderland kind of thing, and it's set in like Boston. It's just like that kind of historical New England vibe. I really like this book, and I'm definitely going to be getting the sequel. It's a duology, it's not a trilogy, which I like. So I'm going to be getting the next in the series eventually when I do buy it. Next, I read Wake by Amanda Hawkins, and so this one, there's I think 4 books in the series. I own the second book, and then I went to the library and I took out the 3rd and the 4th book. But after reading this, I was super not into it at all. And it's like, I kind of liked it when, you know, when I was reading it, I was like, oh, this is interesting. But I wasn't feeling it, maybe I just wasn't in a reading mood. But so essentially, she gets turned into a siren in this book by these evil, bitchy girls. And I don't know if it's just like super high schooly. Like, I feel if I was younger, I would have maybe liked it a lot more or something. I thought there was a huge emphasis on like catty kind of drama thing. And I really don't like drama in books. I'm more into like, you know, adventures and stuff, and if there's like teenage, like, oh my god, that girl is such a bitch. I know, Becky, such a fucking bitch. Just like stuff like that. I'm like, nah, no. I do have the second book in the series, so I might pick it up in the future, but I don't know. Maybe if I like am desperate for a mermaid book and it's there. But yeah, so I don't know, man. I don't know. Next, I read The Cure for Dreaming by Kat Winters, and this book, you guys, this was the best book of the month by far. If you kind of are into like a steampunky kind of aesthetic, mystical, if you like The Night Circus or Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children, I feel that you would really like this book. So this book is set in Portland, Oregon in like the 1900s, right around like the women's suffrage time. So Olivia, the main character, her dad is totally against the women's suffrage. They think they're just completely stupid and it's dumb and the women's place is at home, blah blah blah. So she has all these opinions and her dad doesn't like that. So he hires a famous magician to hypnotize her into not believing in women's suffrage. But instead of hypnotizing her to do that, he does something else. And then so she sees things that before, you know, she didn't see. And from there, it's like all the topics of like mysticism and romance, but like not like totally, like the whole thing isn't about romance. There's like all these different layers to this book that were just absolutely awesome. I really liked the history and the research that went into this because it's like spot on. I really like this. There's a huge like feminist kind of perspective in this book, as well as just like the magic and the writing is just really something that I really liked. Oh, I forgot to even say, there's like a shitload of pictures inside of it as well. These are just like cool things that are in it. Recommended reading. Let's find some more pictures. There's just like lots of fun stuff in this book. I mean, I really recommend this book if that is something that you're into. So next I read Crest by Marissa Meyer. I really liked this book. I thought the perspective was really interesting. I'm not a huge fan of, like, Cinder's cool, but I'm not a huge fan of when everything is in her perspective because it's really like kind of whiny to me. I liked Scarlet the best, then Cress, then Cinder. Like Rapunzel retelling, blah blah blah, in space, steampunky, I'm an android, boo boo kind of thing. But yeah, I really like this one. It's pretty chunky. I don't know, I really like Cress and Thorn. So sue me, it's cute. S-cow. Next, I read a book that I don't actually own. I got it from the library, and it's Of Neptune by Anna Banks. So this is the last book in the Sirena trilogy. Like, I liked the book. I just like didn't really like the ending. It's a mermaid book. Mermaid book stuff is gonna happen, you know. It's like meant for really, like a younger audience and happy endings and blah blah blah, but I don't know, I just kind of didn't feel it. It was like, okay, I definitely liked the first book of the series the best. Next, I read Ferris by Marissa Meyer. This is like the little extra book that she just released a little while ago, and I still haven't taken the sticker off. Lavana is a bitch, and I don't care about her. Like, this story was good, and it was like a really kind of cool perspective on her, and like this art I guess is cool. I mean, didn't need to be there, but like I liked it anyway, and I feel it added a little bit to the story. But yes. Okay, next I have some school reading because I'm taking like my first ever English class in years. First one that I had to read for that is Dr. Faustus by Christopher Marlowe. This one I really liked. Like, I had never even heard of this before this class, and this is definitely nothing I would have ever picked up in my life. I watched the movie first to like kind of get a bearing for it because this was written in like the 1600s. I'm really kind of like, what are we talking about sometimes? Then I had to read The Tempest by Shakespeare. This book was alright, not my fave. I mean, Then I read Frankenstein by Mary Shelley, which I love. I really like Frankenstein and like Dracula and these kind of like written kind of around the 1800s, early 1900s, like that time. Gothic horror. I love this kind of thing, but I really like this book. I've read it before, but it was like years ago, so it was nice to just kind of like reread it. Victor, though, he's an idiot. He doesn't learn anything in this book whatsoever. So this book is just like, he didn't learn his lesson at all because pride. So the last 2 books that I've read, is this more than 14? I think this is actually 15. No, but I'll think about it. Okay, I've read 15 books, I think. So Balefire by Kate Tiernan. She wrote the Wicca Sweep series that I was showing earlier. I'm trying to like get through all my bind-ups that I own because I have a lot of bind-ups. This one is not about Wicca, but it is about a kind of different form of like paganism, magic, kind of Wicca-y stuff. It's set in New Orleans, which I really love because I really like New Orleans. Even though I've never been there, I really want to go. Okay, I have one issue with this series so far. It is one big book. This is not 4 separate books. There is literally no ends to these stories. It just ends and then picks up right off in the next book. So these 4 books in this bind up, this series, they're just one big book. This is like Lord of the Rings before they chopped it up kind of thing. It really doesn't need to be 4 books. It's one book. It's one book. Like even with that, I really like this story. It's about 2 twins that didn't know they were twins. They were separated at birth for reasons that will be explained. And so one of them is CeeLo and the other one is Thais. Anyway, they're like completely identical twins and magical stuff happens. If you're a twin, then your twin magic is better and some shit in there. It's fun. It's cool. I'm definitely gonna like finish this soon-ish. I'm just kind of like in a reading slump a little bit, so I'm not sure when, but yes. Alright, so those are all the books that I've read this past month. It's a lot of books. I'm really pleased with myself, and I love looking at my Goodreads goal because it's like, you are 15 ahead of schedule. In June, I definitely have 2 more books for my class that I have to read. I have to read Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, which I actually haven't read yet, and it's really short, so that's easy. And then I have to read Brave New World by Aldous. And so this one, I just have it handy. Brave New World by Aldous. Oh shit, I'm so bad at names. I'm sorry. This dude, Mr. Huxley. Weird baby fetuses in test tubes. So I think, like, I really have never read this book before. I just know it's like a dystopian, and I'm assuming that they genetically modify humans. I don't know, don't tell me. But other than that, I really have no idea what I want to read. I have so many books. Like, if you've seen my my unread TBR video that I put out a few weeks ago, I'll link it below if you want to see it. I have so many books to read. I'm just kind of like, meh. I don't know what I'm gonna read next, so we'll see what happens. But yeah, so those are all the books that I've read this month. Let me know down in the comments below what books you read this past month. If you've read any of the books that I just talked about, what you thought about them. So yeah, thank you for watching my video. My name is Sarah, and I will see you guys later.